It is 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It is 5 o'clock on the West Coast. It is the 3rd of April in the year of our Lord 2025, season 15, episode 38. 707 times you have been welcome to the Clubhouse Podcast live with Sunset Lounge DFW. We're live. It's how we do it. Every Thursday night, your one-stop shop for sports, entertainment, pop culture, and pro wrestling. It's what we've been doing for almost a decade and a half. Welcome. My name is Rob. I am the executive producer of the Clubhouse Podcast, and I am now a tree-hugging hippie with style. We might talk about it later. You don't know. But I'm also not alone. We're a man down for now. We'll see if Alex joins us, but right now, to the right of me on my screen, he's that way. He is the official fact checker of Sooner or Gator Productions and a man who's always on a mission. You may know him as Igbunu, but his mama named him Don Ford. I'm going to call him Don Ford. Hey, man.
Care. I like it. I'm having my soda right now.
My wife likes it. Yeah. My wife has a 12-pack in the fridge right now of the Dr. Pepper. Is it Blackberry Dr. Pepper?
Blackberry. No, yep, there is a sugar-free. Have you tried it, yes or no?
I have not. That's what my wife is currently drinking is the zero sugar. It's not sugar-free, it's zero sugar.
Well,
those are two different things because
it
dictates what the sweetener is, basically.
Okay. So. All right. But I was wondering if you gave it just a sip from the lovely and talented little.
I'm not a Dr. Pepper guy.
Well, I know. Some people are. I mean, Forrest Gump.
I don't dig prune-flavored soda, you know?
Yeah. Teach their own.
But
you can't. If you haven't tried it, you can't say you can't hate it.
I didn't say I hated it.
Yep. So you never know. Maybe someday you just might just.
But we have cool stuff to do tonight, Don.
Oh, did you say something about an announcement or something?
All week long, people have been checking us out on social media.
This is big.
On TikTok. They've liked our video, or the video I did.
Yep.
We are going to give away 2 pair of Rough Riders tickets for tomorrow night. 7:05 opening night, right down the street, the Frisco Rough Riders. I think it's still Dr. Pepper Stadium. I don't remember. But all of the shows here at Sunset Lounge DFW have tickets to give away. So maybe you went to another show and registered there and you didn't win, and then you came and registered with us. That's cool.
We'll take it.
Hold on, Don.
Okay.
We're not going to give away both pair right now.
Okay.
You got to stay with the show. But we are going to give away 1 pair right now. And in order for us to do this, Don,
right,
we must summon the Wheel of Names.
Wheel of Names. Okay.
Shabooyah. We have the Wheel of Names. We're going to spin the Wheel of Names. And everybody that has liked our story on TikTok, I've also checked these as well. We're going to pick a winner right now. You ready, Don?
Or you do, real fast. Frisco Rough Riders play at Riders Field. Riders Field.
Rough Riders Field. It used to be Dr. Pepper Stadium at one point.
Yeah, it says Riders Field.
But here we go. You ready, Don?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do it. We are spinning the Wheel of Names. Our first winner. The Jurassic Cowboy himself, Dave McDonough. You have won a pair of tickets.
Come on that show.
For tomorrow night's game, we'll give away the other pair later on in the show. So stick around. All right. Very exciting. Very exciting time on the show, Don.
Yep. We're proud.
Let's get into things. If Alex gets in, we'll give you updates on our brackets. I think, at least 2 of the final 4. I know I got at least 1 because I got Florida going all the way.
Yeah.
So,
and do you know this is the first year, I think, since 2008 where all 4 of the number 1s have made it in?
Yep. It's all chalk, which you get it because they're the number 1 seeds. But on the other hand, you like to have those Cinderellas that come through. Not a lot of surprises this year. There's been a few, but not like there's been the last couple of years for sure.
So let me ask, since the next show, it'll be over by the next show, who would you say is going to win the whole thing?
I got to stay with my boys, Don. That's who I picked.
Okay.
Go Gators.
Who is?
Go Gators. Let's go Florida.
Hey, doing Florida. Okay.
What I'm going with. They're still in it, so I'm riding this thing till the wheels fall off.
Okay.
But let's get into some NBA standings.
Okay. Which is, I won't say it. That's Alex.
That's Alex's bit. So we will get right into it because we've only got like 6 games left in the season, Don.
That's it.
Almost over. Regular season's almost over. In the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division, the Philadelphia 76ers, they're not going to get to 500, Don, because they're 30 games below it. And they're 33 back in the division. They're 2 back of Brooklyn. The Nets are now 3 back of Toronto. The Toronto Raptors are now 20 games back on the Knicks. The Knicks have locked down a playoff spot, but Boston has clinched the division at 56-20. They're 8 games up on New York. In the Central Division, the Bulls are still terrible. They're 8 games below 500, and they're 27 back. They are 7.5 back of Milwaukee. The Bucks are now a half game back on Detroit, former champs of basketball, who are 3 back on Indiana. The Indiana Pacers have clinched a playoff spot, but they're still 16 games back on Cleveland. Cleveland has clinched the division. The Southeast Division still up for grabs.
Once you make the playoffs, that's all that matters. No matter how far you're back, as long as you get the playoffs.
Southeast Division still up for grabs, unless you're the Washington Wizards, because they haven't gotten their 20th win yet, and they're 19.5 back. They're 2 back of Charlotte. The Hornets are now 16 back of my Heat. By the way, Don, my Heat are on a 6-game heater and beat Boston last night.
Oh, wow.
The Heat are now a game back on the Hawks, and the Hawks are now a half game back on Atlanta. So that division's still up for grabs. Let's get into the Western Conference. In the Pacific Division, still nobody has got anything locked up there, as the Phoenix Suns are 6 games below 500, and they're 11.5 back. They are a game back of Sacramento. The Kings are now 8 back of the Clippers. The Clippers now a half game back of Golden State. Golden State now 2 back on the Lakers. And Alex has joined us.
Better late than never.
Yeah, but you let me know you might be running late, so we're good, brother.
Yeah.
We already did have our first winner of the Rough Riders tickets. The Jurassic Cowboy himself, Dave McDonough, was our first winner on the Wheel of Names. We're going to give away the other pair in a little while.
Excellent.
Interesting dynamic right now.
Scheduling anything? Not Thursday.
An interesting dynamic going on between the Lakers and Golden State right now, because the Lakers are currently 2 games up in the division. However, Golden State is trying to avoid the play-in.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's going to be an interesting division to watch as we get into the Southwest Division. Fly Pelican will not be flying into the playoffs because they're, 32 games below 500 and 28.5 back. They are 9 back of the Spurs. The Spurs now 5.5 back of the Mavericks. The Mavericks now 7.5 back on Memphis. Memphis has lost 4 in a row, which has given Houston not only a playoff spot, but they're 5.5 games up in the division. And in the Northwest Division, Utah, just start watching hockey. You'll be fine because you're 48.5 games out of first place right now.
I don't know that that's
you are past the All-Star break back. They are now 17.5 back on Portland. By the way, Utah averaging almost a 9-point loss per game. Portland now 11 back on Minnesota. Timberwolves, who are now partially owned by A-Rod, are 2.5 back on Denver. Denver's now 17.5 back on Oklahoma City, which, by the way, kids, they're on an 11-game heater, and they're 64-12.
And I love the people that are like, why aren't they resting starters? They're winning too many games. It's like you can obviously tell who's not watching Oklahoma City games because they are resting them. It's just the fact that the team is clicking at every level.
Number 3 offense in the league, number 1 defense in the league. What are you going to do?
Siakam.
So let's get into is if the playoffs started today. Right now, you've got, and by the way, Oklahoma City has also clinched home court. Of course they have. They've only lost 12 games.
In other words, duh.
Yeah.
What was it? Was 70 the record? in regular season?
No, it's actually the Golden State Warriors beat Chicago 72-10. I think it was 73-9 or 74-8.
Okay.
Yes, it was. It was 72 by the Bulls and then 73 by Golden State. And I cashed a very large ticket on them not winning the championship that year.
So above the red line right now.
Real fast, since you came in late, Alex, who's your pick on the Final Four to win it all?
Still Duke.
Who? Duke?
Still Duke.
Okay. All right.
I feel obligated. My fandom will be rooting for the Gators 100%.
Okay.
I am surprised that it has not come up on the show as to why from Mr. Irvin.
Okay. I'm saying Duke also.
I'm not sure I know.
Who's your number 2 scorer, Rob?
That I don't know right now.
I'll give you a hint. He dapped me up while we were sitting courtside.
Oh, really?
Elijah Martin.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my dudes from the FAU is your number 2 scorer on the Gators.
And they just lost somebody to the transfer portal today.
Who, FAU?
So, no, Florida did.
Oh, at this point, if you're losing somebody to the transfer portal when you're going into the Final Four, that's probably a toxic person you don't need.
So if the playoffs started today from top to bottom, here's your top 6. Cleveland, Boston, New York, Indiana, Detroit, Milwaukee. In the play-in, you'd have Orlando against Chicago, Atlanta versus Miami. With roughly 7 to 8 games to go, there's only 2 teams that Mountains would have to move, but Toronto or Brooklyn could get in.
But what I'm hearing is they won't.
6-game heater. In the Western Conference, of course, you've got OKC, Houston, Lakers, Denver, Golden State, and Minnesota. Your play-in would be Clippers, Sacramento, and Memphis, Dallas. Now, you have you got 3 teams that could. What's happening?
The fact that Dallas can even still be in the play-in just tells you how bad the NBA playoffs are.
Well, and you still got 3 teams that could likely get in if everything runs right, because within 4 games of Sacramento are Phoenix, Portland, and San Antonio. San Antonio has 32 wins.
Yeah, and I'm every time there's somebody like Cooper Flagg coming up for the NBA, you have all of these teams that are like, we're okay if we lose.
If you're as we get into hockey talk, actually before that, one quick thing that came up yesterday for the NFL. If you boys remember, Christmas Day this past year, we had a doubleheader on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
It will now be a triple header with 2 on Netflix and 1 on Prime.
Like Thanksgiving, basically, but on the networks.
Very good comparable.
Well, actually, I think isn't Thanksgiving up to 4 now?
3.
Didn't they got a
I think
4th
it's still
game?
3. No.
Okay.
The 4th game was the Black Friday.
That's right. I'm counting it.
Now, but at the same time,
but if you're
this is Netflix getting cocky after the debacle that was boxing, because those Christmas Day games actually ran pretty smoothly.
Yeah. And if you're at Alex Ovechkin critical mass, first of all, what's wrong with you? Secondly,
number 1,
it's about to get worse.
Yeah.
Because every game for the rest of the regular season, you're going to have ESPN, TNT, and TBS tracking everything. And ESPN announcing today they are going to have a dedicated camera on Alex Ovechkin no matter what he does in these final few games. And they're playing the Blackhawks coming up. He could easily get a hat trick to break it.
I hate that you said that. I really hate that you said that. I had that one in my back pocket because I was going to set it up with, do you guys think he breaks the record this season?
I think he does it against Chicago because Chicago's terrible.
I think he may do it. If I had to bet, I'd say yes, he does.
He only needs 3.
He only needs 3, but how many games do they have left?
Right now, they have 7 games left.
Oh, yeah.
But the other part about that is, I don't know if you saw, but Sidney Crosby actually broke a Gretzky record this season as well. which was
I remember hearing something about that.
It was the most seasons averaging more than a point a game. He hit 20.
I saw another stat today that was like, it was Gretzky and I want to say Messier, but don't quote me. Between them, they had the scoring title for 15 seasons straight.
Oh, no. My favorite one on that one is the fact that the record for most points by siblings in the NHL is like Wayne and Brett Gretzky. Brett Gretzky had 4.
Yeah. Did you see they called up a kid who was playing for Boston College last week that joined the Capitals?
I did not. I saw that they called up a young guy. I didn't realize it was that young.
Yeah. So he tells the story that he's like, yeah, I got a text from Ovechkin welcoming me to the team and taking me out to dinner. And then we got to talking. That's the worst freeze frame I have on Alex ever. And then he was like, I was like, hey, you want to go see the campus? And I was like, yeah. And we drove around my campus for like an hour. And Ovechkin was asking me all these questions. Like he was all in. And
he
then
just strikes me as the guy that appreciates the country. That's
well, and then they showed them sitting side by side on the bench. And it was this kid, debut April 1st, 2025. Alex Ovechkin, debut October of 2005. And I needed Metamucil. That man has been in the league for 20 years.
Yeah, well,
and I remember when he and Crosby came in.
I was going to say, greatest 1-2 draft of all time, guaranteed.
Not wrong. But let's get into the standings. The Bruins are bad. They are, 27 points out of first place. And they're a point behind the Sabres. Oh, by the way, Boston's on a 9-game skid. Buffalo 5 back on Detroit. Red Wings are 4 back on the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh.
He always sounds like he's clearing his throat, and I love it.
He does.
Montreal is now 5 back on Ottawa. The Senators are 8 back on my Panthers. Panthers are a point back on my Lightning, and the Lightning are now 3 back on Toronto. But between them, they're on a 7-game heater. Toronto has clinched a playoff spot. In where, John?
The Metropolitan Division.
Where you should be happy for the Philadelphia Flyers because they're keeping you guys out of the basement. They are 34 points out of first place. By the way, you're tied, but you're above in the standings. Now, when you know who's leading that division, it kind of makes sense because they are 3 points back on the Islanders. The Islanders are 3 now back on Columbus. Columbus 2 back on the Rangers. The New York Rangers are 8 points back on the Devils. New Jersey is 9 back on Carolina, who has clinched a playoff spot. But here's the crazy thing. The Washington Capitals currently have 105 points. They have not clinched the division because they're 9 points up on Carolina and Carolina's got 8 games to play. Like, this is nuts.
Because the world runs through the Eastern Seaboard in hockey.
It's crazy. In the Western Conference Central Division, as we said, the Chicago Blackhawks are bad. They are 54 points out of first place. They could double their points and still be 2 points back. They are 10 points back on Nashville. Predators are 18 points back of Hockey Club. Let's go, Utah. I'm your governor. Let's go. Utah is now 9 back on St. Louis. The Blues are on a 10-game heater, by the way, kids. The Blues are tied with Minnesota, and they are both 7 points back of Colorado. Colorado now 6 points back on Dallas, who's won 6 in a row. Dallas has clinched a playoff spot at 102 points, but are still 4 points back on Winnipeg. So you have 3 teams all past the century mark. None of them have clinched the division. I love hockey.
Competitive balance. It's better in hockey than it is anywhere else. But I will say, the Blues Barn is one of the favorites I've been in.
They have a horrible unofficial theme song that they make fun of Josh Arnold on Bob and Tom about all the time. In the Pacific Division, San Jose, put a pin in it. They are a whopping 48 points out of first place. If they doubled their points, they'd be ahead by 2. They are 20 points back of a Kraken. Seattle now 4 points back of Anaheim. The Ducks are now 7 points back of Vancouver. Vancouver's a point back on Calgary. Calgary 9 back on Edmonton. Edmonton is 2 back on the Kings. The Kings are now 5 back on Vegas. Vegas has clinched a playoff spot. All right, boys. It's time for North America's favorite game show.
Wait, before we get into that,
Uh-huh.
based on the timing, is this the last one of the year?
I think we might have one next week.
I was wondering about that earlier, but
we can do final stats next week.
But here's my problem. I was curious about that, and this happens. It's like Chick-fil-A on a Sunday. I have questions about the NHL, but I can't look them up because it's Thursday, and I know North America's favorite game show is coming. So now I have a list of like 5 different things relating to Ovechkin, the draft, point records, how late teams are in a division, but I can't look anything up until we're done with this.
Which I appreciate.
You.
Sorry.
Shows you care.
I do. I really probably shouldn't, but I do.
What is the goal differential for the Chicago White Sox of the NHL? Which we kind of can't say right now because the White Sox are playing really well out of the gate.
But at the same time, you're not wrong. The 2024 White Sox of the NHL is the San Jose Sharks.
The only difference, the only reason they're in second place is they weren't the first. They didn't go bell to bell. Don, what you got?
Let's go first this week since I won last week.
All right, fair enough.
I did not hear what he said. I'm sorry.
He deferred.
He deferred? So let's see. 82. I'm going to go 10 more than Don's guess and say 85.
Don.
And I'm going to stick with my lucky 75.
Okay, so let's recap. Last week, Don predicted minus 75.
Uh-huh.
Let's put it out there because this is important.
Yeah.
San Jose has 8 games left in the season.
Okay.
They have played 74 games. In those 74 games,
okay,
they are 20, 44, and 10. They are 1 win less than Chicago, and the Blackhawks have a 10-goal better differential. They have 50 points.
Bedard.
They are 12, 23, 12, 23, and 2 at home, 8, 21, and 8 on the road. They're 3, 6, and 1 in their last 10, and they've lost 3 in a row. This week's winner is #NotDon. Remember last week, the goal differential was minus 75. Currently, the San Jose Sharks have a goal differential of minus 89.
What?
We could have the century mark, boys.
And you only need 11 last time.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so apparently one of the things to look up is there is a definitive best overall skater expected in this draft. So these teams like the Sharks seem to have no incentive, especially with it being a defenseman. So it's at a cost-saving position. So I have a funny feeling there's a lot of screwiness that's going to get us to the century mark.
And baseball season is underway, and I don't really want to talk about it because the Braves can't win their way out of a paper bag right now. And we just
I think you get through a paper bag. It's just not plastic.
All right, let's get into TV talk. We've got a handful of RIPs this week. One for TV talk is Richard Chamberlain, who passed away 2 days before his 91st birthday. He was in the original Shogun, so go back and watch that. He was also in the Thornbirds. he was the king of the miniseries in the late 70s, early 80s. I'm gonna tell you something. Couldn't throw a rock and not hit a miniseries that guy was in. And just as Kevin Smith likes to say, big bucket of win. And we're going to talk about him here later in the show too. Let's get to stuff we watched this week, stuff we watched this week, stuff we watched this week. TV edition. Alex, go.
I have been going back into the Wayback Machine lately because I feel like I'm in a dead zone with TV shows. If anybody wants to reach out to Vexploit on social media to give me suggestions, I'm more than happy to listen. But I've decided to go back to Boardwalk Empire. And I am through the first season. It is really good, but I'm getting a lot of Ozark vibes from it. It is a phenomenally made show that I'm having a hard time finding somebody to root for.
That's kind of the point of Boardwalk Empire. There's nobody with redeeming qualities on that show. But dear God, and it got Bobby Cannavale as Emmy.
He's not even on the show for me yet. So thanks.
We've talked about
it's old. It's old. I'm giving you crap.
Don.
They started the new season of the Guilty and Accused on A&E about the real life cases that they court cases and stuff. That was pretty decent. I've said this a couple times. I don't care. I'm going to keep saying it. The last 2 episodes of The Pit are, oh my Lord. I just can't say enough. And you Alex, you talked about recommendations to Vexploit. That's one is The Pit. I cannot say enough. There's like 2 episodes left. And I did see that Dark Side of the Ring started off again. So
I will say the only reason I haven't started The Pit is I'm worried about it being too much for me based on it basically being based about UPMC, where I've spent a good number of time.
That's not the issue. Pittsburgh's really not a thing in that. There's a couple outside shots, which Rob
I think he's talking about the hospital specifically.
No, because
Don, I want you to stop because there is a wound on my hip that would say that I don't want you to continue.
Okay.
That'd be. I have fallen down a new YouTube rabbit hole.
Oh, what you got?
You and I have actually talked about this. I have fallen down the rabbit hole of YouTube videos of people that buy return pallets from like Amazon and just to see if they can resell some of it. Harrison Neville is one that I'm very much enjoying, but he also does a lot of stuff with like shoe return pallets, and I'm not a shoe guy. But there's another one, and it's called Humble Hustle that I'm watching. It's a husband and wife team, and they buy the mega pallets from Amazon. And like one time they found 2 brand new, still in the shrink wrap laptops, and they've been chasing that dragon ever since. So, but I'm enjoying watching some of the stuff. I mean, if you've got to really commit to the bit to make money.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I want to apologize on air for like ruining part of that for you.
No, you didn't, because I had a feeling it was a greater than 0 chance that you had experience with it, but I was going to let you know anyway. You're good.
Yeah. Oh no,
right.
And it makes great watching. So excellent.
And one of the reasons I'm looking forward to Saturday night, Amber Ruffin no longer hosting the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
I am totally shocked.
Stay with me. Roy Wood Jr. puts up a post going, "Nice job announcing that after you knew we had taped this week's episode. So get ready for next week's Have I Got News for You." And I'm like, yay! So I'm very excited, even though I'll be watching it on delay because I will be in New Braunfels, Texas this weekend at Hill Country Comic-Con. So come on down, hang out. Let us know you watch the show. Makes us feel better about ourselves. ABC has renewed Shifting Gears for season 2. That's the Tim Allen show that's also got an almost unrecognizable Sean William Scott and Kat Dennings.
Yep. And anything with Kat Dennings is inherently better.
Yep. They have also renewed Will Trent for season 4. And they've also given renewals to 911, Grey's Anatomy, shock, and The Rookie.
Fantastic report. She likes the 911. We glad it moved over from Fox. It didn't end it. And Will Trent, we do watch that. Not the best, but still not a bad show.
Adult Swim has renewed Common Side Effects for season 2. Very strange.
I can't bring myself to even start that with the commercials.
Yeah, I'm like, and I've read what it's about, and I'm like, this is just weird.
Yeah, I haven't even got that far.
CBS has cast Rachel Hayward as Lestrade on Watson. So that character is involved. So I'm very excited about that for her. And in a very strange move this week, CBS has said they will be airing the MTV Movie Awards this year, September 7th.
Paramount doing Paramount things, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same company, but like, just call it Music Video Awards because it ain't MTV. Hasn't been for like 30 years. And news that will make Alex happy.
We shall see, but I think I know what this is.
Fox has not only renewed The Simpsons, Family Guy, and Bob's Burgers, but they've given them 4 more seasons apiece.
Absolutely. I know there was a lot of concern with other people that were liking Bob's Burgers since it was actually delayed for 2025. But even Fox was like, no. We don't shoot the cash cow. We try to make others by giving them space. And they were getting run over by American Dad, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers. The old heads of the animation domination were truly wiping out new incoming, which is why they all got delayed.
Yeah, and animation domination continuing to live up to its name, especially with the return of American Dad to the lineup. HBO Max with a very interesting announcement for Lanterns this week. You will have crossover from film because Nathan Fillion will be Guy Gardner on Lanterns. Let's go.
I have a general question for you guys. Have you ever seen a headline like this and immediately just dismissed it thinking it was something you already knew and you learned it at a weird time? Because this is happening to me right now. Because I saw the headline and I was like, we already know Nathan Fillion's playing Guy Gardner. But the problem was I didn't look at the subtext that clarified where.
Yep.
That's big news. That's cool.
That
also tells us that we are probably going to have one of James Gunn's favorite actors to work with as his, and I quote, favorite jerk lantern.
And it's perfect casting. It is perfect casting. If you've seen the little flashes from the Superman trailer. We'll talk about another trailer here in a minute. I did watch it, Alex.
Well, do you have a blurb about Superman coming up?
I haven't heard anything new.
Well, I'll save it for movie talk if I don't hear it.
Hulu has added Shailene Woodley for season 2 of Paradise.
Okay.
So that'll be coming up. And they have ordered the 2 series, the Handmaid's Tale spinoff called The Testaments.
Okay.
So that's coming. And they announced today that season 2 of 9 Perfect Strangers that did very well for them will kick off on May 21st.
Okay.
And then we go into MTV news to talk about the season 17 grand finale of RuPaul's Drag Race.
There's a whole lot of a sentence that nobody would have predicted 10 years ago.
They will have on that show one Liza Minnelli, who is in a documentary right now that I've heard is very, very good. And they will be presenting her their first ever Giving Us Lifetime Achievement Award. I like what they did there.
That is nice.
NBC Peacock. This week, SNL, Jack Black, hosting for the first time since King Kong came out in December of 2005, and he said he's been having nightmares about it all week. Your musical guests will be Elton John and Brandi Carlile. Last week was good. Mikey Madison did a good job. We're not talking about the Morgan Wallen thing because there's 97 different versions of that story.
Oh, no. My hesitation was sitting there realizing you said Elton John.
Yeah. And
I have a request.
Please. Oh, okay.
I need Elton John and Jack Black duetting Peaches.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
And if that hasn't been written into the script, what are you doing?
Circle May 13th on your calendar because they will be airing a tribute show called Joan Rivers, a Dead Funny All-Star Tribute. With this pretty stout lineup they've announced so far. So, one thing if you don't know about Joan Rivers, all the way up until her passing, every joke she had written on index cards, and she had those big card catalog things in her house, and that's how she kept her jokes. So,
That's cool.
and kids, look up what card catalogs are. Netflix. We have pseudo Stranger Things news.
Okay.
All right.
As we know, the West End in London has been doing a stage production called Stranger Things: The First Shadow, which is the
Yes.
to tell you Vecna's story. That is now on Broadway in New York, but on April 15th, they have filmed a behind-the-scenes documentary for the West End run. So there'll probably, if you haven't gotten that far in Stranger Things, there's probably going to be spoilers in that. I am caught up, so I will be watching it. They have said season 2,
And along with that, wait, before you get off of that, there has been discussion. There has been discussion of a Hamilton-like presentation for the West End production based on how the documentary does on Netflix. So yes, go watch the documentary. I don't care if it spoils things for you. Let's get this going.
And they have said season 2 of the Shane Gillis show Tires will debut on June 5th. Also, they have renewed Ted Danson's A Man on the Inside for season 2. And I don't know how they pulled this off, but they got Mary Steenburgen to be on the show for season 2. He says tongue firmly.
They pulled this off. Really? They had another announcement today.
Yeah, I heard we might be the same one I'm about to say. I don't know.
Oh, I'll let you roll then.
Today that season 2 of Fubar will kick off on June 12th. The Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carrie-Anne Moss thing.
Carrie-Anne Moss was not in the first season. I highly recommend it. It's not a great show, as in it's not going to blow you away, but it's a really funny, enjoyable show. Plus Arnold embracing his age. Plus Melissa Barrera plays his daughter, and she's phenomenal in everything. It's really, really good.
And Paramount Plus announcing this week that Dexter Original Sin has been renewed for season 2. They also dropped the season 3 trailer for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, but I don't want to watch it because I'm ready for it. Nothing on TV.
Dexter was a pretty good show.
Okay.
We watched that first season, so I will watch this one again.
Nothing of note being released on DVD and Blu-ray this Tuesday. So let's get into movies. We've got a couple of RIPs. One, Bruce Glover passing away at 92. And he is the father of one Crispin Glover. He was also one of the 2 assassins. He was Mr. Kidd in Diamonds Are Forever. He was also that guy in that thing. We also found out this week that we lost Val Kilmer at the age of 65. I mean, how do you sum it up? The guy did it all.
He did it. But the best way I ever heard it put was, or let me rephrase, ever heard it put is a little bit of a stretch since it's only been a few days. But the best way I heard it put was, there are so many of us who spent most of our lives trying to be funny. Some have made a career out of it, not too dissimilar with Ryan Reynolds just being likable. We all have Chris Knight from Real Genius, and by extension, Val Kilmer, to thank for that. Because he was the original Van Wilder. That is a wildly underrated movie, as is almost all of his. And anybody who wants to come at me and say he was a terrible Batman, I got receipts. Let's go. The hat is here.
I thought he was a good Bruce Wayne.
Yes.
For sure. And yeah, Top Secret. Come on.
Yes.
You know?
The cow. Cow.
And I just, this week is CinemaCon, and Tom Cruise was there showing some of the footage from The Final Reckoning, and he started with a moment of silence for Val Kilmer, which I thought was pretty awesome. And the Thunderbolts entrance was pretty awesome too. Go out there and find it.
Let me, if I can, on Kilmer, the one I was, like you're saying, Top Secret, all that. In 90, the Oscars in 92, even though he deserved to get nominated over some of those other ones of Nick Nolte or De Niro for Cape Fear, I feel, for his portrayal of Jim
in The Doors. I remember seeing
he should have been nominated. Now, Hopkins won
the first few ones, and I was like, "Is that Jim Morrison?" Or like, "No, that's Val Kilmer." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
So Hopkins won for Silence of the Lambs, which I don't think anybody could,
Hello, Clarice.
Not even get
that's undeniable.
That performance.
Do you hear the lamb scream, Clarice?
Different year, a year later, he should have won the Oscar for Best Actor because he was Jim Morrison in that.
He sang the stuff too.
I was going to say, did you see the blurb from the band that was like, yeah, the first time we saw the movie, we were like, oh, you dubbed Jim's voice in. And they were like, no. And we were like, oh.
Yeah.
But Kilmer had the ability to do anything. And I mean, we were talking about this, and it's a really cool bridge that you brought up, whether intended or not, Don, because you had him actually singing and performing himself in Top Secret. Apparently, he had a hand in the songs, how they were performed, and did all of the singing himself, and then the bridge to it. But you also know he had the best-selling book of poetry, the TV spots, the fact that everybody wished they could be as cool as Iceman, even though he wasn't the hero of the movie.
Ted Kaczynski.
Not as cool as Iceman.
Yeah. I am dangerous. Ice. Man. Oh, such a great movie. Speaking of movies, my shirt. On our social media, you get a link to get this shirt. You can have your own version. This is Film Club from Garland High School, who we support very, very well. We'll be at the Real Owl Film Festival next month. This is their Film Club shirt for this year. So go pick it up. All the money goes to the kids. It's a very comfortable shirt. I like this one. Very comfortable. All right, let's go to stuff this week that we watched that were movies. I got nothing. Don?
See, this week, I'm running short this week.
I think none of us have movies this week.
It's been a crazy week.
We're in a dead zone.
We are getting a movie we didn't think we would. Ketchup Entertainment has acquired Coyote versus Acme. It will come out later this year. So we are getting that movie. With
Coyote versus Acme?
Yes, Don. We've talked about this. This was the Coyote. It's a law thing where the Coyote sues Acme for everything that happened.
We've talked about this a lot, Don.
And it's got Will Forte. And guess who else it has, Don?
And
what's it?
John Cena!
Everyone.
They just ruined it.
I'm excited for it. And there was somebody in a Coyote costume.
Well, we know people that have seen it.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to that.
We know people who have seen it and had said it is hilarious. So.
A lot of news coming out of CinemaCon this week. The Antoine Fuqua directed Michael Jackson biopic currently clocking in at 4 hours, and they're talking about splitting it into 2 films.
Okay,
starting in 2026.
I'm still hesitant on that one altogether, but I'm willing to let them show me.
The audio went out. Which one again, Rob?
The Michael Jackson biopic.
That's being directed by Antoine Fuqua.
Okay.
There has been
some, I believe.
Well, there has been some legal issues with some of the people that are portrayed in it that they're trying to swim through right now. In more great news, that last year was an April Fool's joke. Mark June 5th on your calendar, because that's when Dogma's getting a re-release in theaters, and Kevin Smith will be touring with it to 20 AMC theaters across the country. And on Hollywood Babylon Saturday night, he did list Dallas as one of the cities. So here we go. I have a list. There's going to be a live action Legend of Zelda movie set for March 26th, 2027.
Now, we are so early on that you could put a pin in the live action, because there's a level of it that's like, okay, what is live action? What is animated? Remember, the Lion King's remake was considered live action, even though almost the entire thing is animated. So big grain of salt with Legend of Zelda live action.
That is the wording, so I'm going with it.
Yeah, no. But I'm clarifying for the audience, Rob.
Yeah. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse now set for June 4th, 2027. So we have some movement on that.
Yes, we do.
So don't let us down. Stick the landing.
Did you see the still image released with that announcement?
I saw a couple of different things, but it's all blurring for me right now.
The big one that was for me was Miles versus Prowler.
Yeah.
And its other universe.
We are getting John Wick 5. We're also getting an anime prequel and 2 more spin-offs. One will focus on the character of Kane, the blind guy, and it will be directed by Donnie Yen.
So he's starring and directing.
Yep.
I mean, the dude could do everything. It was still one of my favorite things was, what was it? Like his second date with his wife. He got in a fight with 10 dudes and sent 8 of them to the hospital.
Does it give like any kind of premise of the plot of John?
That's all we know right now. But I will tell you this, and I said this last week on the show, find a place that has that pinball machine because it's amazing.
We also don't know in that scope because there's a possibility that John Wick 5 is going to follow either one of the other characters or we're going to go prequel. We don't know anything yet. So any questions at this point would be, you know what we know.
All 4 of the Beatles biopics are going to be set for April of 2028. So there's going to be one about each one and their background leading up to them meeting. So you'll have that going for you. The 4th live action Spider-Man will now be called Spider-Man Brand New Day, which kind of makes sense if you know how No Way Home ends. This one I thought was an April Fool's joke, but apparently it's a thing. Legendary is doing a Gundam film, not the dance.
Okay.
The anime. Sweet Tooth Jim Mickle will write and direct. And Sydney Sweeney is in talks.
I saw this. I saw it was on April 1st. I'm still hesitant until somebody shows me something more concrete.
Yeah, I mean, it was still up the next day. So
but we've already given Sydney Sweeney's acting enough credit. Gundam Dance?
No, it's Gundam, not Gangam. I just didn't want. I was making a joke.
Oh, okay. No. I genuinely had a moment where I was like, "Is there another dance I don't know?" I'm having a dumb moment today.
Momoa has announced he is returning for Dune 3 because Momoa.
But there's questions.
In November, we will be getting the 3rd installment called Now You See Me, Now You Don't, and there is a 4th one coming.
Well, did you notice anything in the poster that was very
I just
distinct?
saw it briefly today.
The return of Isla Fisher.
How you doing?
Exactly.
Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. This book just hit shelves about 4 weeks ago, and we know it's coming November 20th, 2026. This will focus on Hamish Abernathy, who is played by Woody Harrelson.
I have been asking for this. I have been asking for this story.
The logo is cool. The logo is cool.
And remember, I'm the one who was like, when Songbirds and Snakes was coming out, I was like, this is going to be garbage. This is going to be garbage. And it might be my favorite of the movies. It's so well done.
There's the first Richard Bachman story written by Stephen King called The Long Walk is going to be released on September 12th. This is the story. It's a dystopian future where 100 people are supposed to walk in formation. And if you lose formation, you die.
So it's not helping that Family Guy joke where it's Stephen King holding the lamp.
And a very strange story this week. We are getting a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
Written by Quentin Tarantino.
All right.
Starring Brad Pitt.
Uh-huh.
But directed by David Fincher.
Okay, there's a left turn.
Yeah, I was saying I buried it. I was like, wait, I'm trying to do math here. Hold on. It's
one of those where it's like, yeah, check the box.
Well, and then realizing Saturday night that the girl, spoiler alert if you haven't watched Once Upon a Time, the girl that Brad Pitt sets on fire at the end.
Yeah.
That's Mikey Madison.
Oh. Wow.
A then unknown Mikey Madison. Yeah. So Alex, you and I are going to have an appointment July 4th weekend if we're both in town.
Well, it is your birthday, and we do try to make a point of that.
Because there will be a remastered re-release in theaters of This Is Spinal Tap.
Okay, so now you're telling me I have to hold off to experience this in theaters.
I've never seen it in a theater, so absolutely.
Okay, then I will not seek it out in streaming. We will do. Well, do we have locations yet?
Not yet, but I have the Blu-ray.
I know you have mentioned that multiple times, but what I'm saying is I'm going to hold off on the streaming when I'm, doom scrolling.
Yes. We are announced today. We're getting another Friday film. Ice Cube announced today.
But the title gives
I
us
didn't
hope
see the
that
title.
it'll be over. I'm sorry?
Saturday?
I didn't see the title.
Last Friday.
Oh, Saturday.
Oh. And Don,
Yeah.
we're getting that live action How to Train Your Dragon very soon.
Yeah.
Sequel's already set. Summer of
Really?
2027.
Mhm.
Oh, boy.
And we're about a month and a half away from Epic Universe being officially open.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Don, I need you to go to this thing, go to the Isle of Burke, and send back a report. Because everything I have seen about this, it's amazing.
I just want him to try and go do the Nick Offerman in London thing, where it's just him talking to the camera, just going, "Yeah, this isn't right."
It looks amazing, Don. You have to go look up the YouTube videos on this thing.
The Epic Universe you talking?
Yeah, the Isle of Burke is specifically.
No, that's at Universal Orlando.
Orlando.
Yeah. Because we're
And
talking.
the Universal Monsters piece is amazing. They've got a Super Mario or Super Nintendo thing.
That's
where
what
you
I'm
walk
looking
through
forward
the gate and it's like a Mario tube. Like they're not messing around, bro.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we're talking October.
So movie new releases and places you get movie new releases starting today. It's here, boys. Screamboat. Because Steamboat Willie is in the public domain. It's part of the Poonaverse. A Minecraft movie available this weekend. I don't know a lot about Minecraft, but I'm interested. It's getting decent reviews.
It's got entertaining people in it. But the exact things that you and I said was, I've never played Minecraft. I don't know anything about Minecraft. I feel like I'm going to be lost watching this movie, so I need somebody to watch it and tell me.
And shout out to friend of the show, Patrick Beatty, who got to interview Momoa and Jack Black at the same time.
They were doing that a lot. I don't know if you saw, but they were doing the tandem interviews
he
everywhere.
was part of that. And
nice.
Love Patrick. Dude's good people. We also had The Luckiest Man in America. This is a thriller starring Shamir Anderson, Haley Bennett. Let's see here. This is the movie about the guy that beat Press Your Luck in 1984.
Yeah. The Paul Walter Hauser's in this.
Yep. Walton Goggins is in this.
Yes.
Johnny Knoxville is in this. I've seen the documentary. It's fascinating.
The trailer alone is jarring.
We also have a movie named after an obscure 90s hip-hop song from Too Short called Freaky Tales. And it's 4 interconnected stories set in 1987 in Oakland. So you got that going for you. Pedro Pascal, Ben Mendelsohn, Jay Ellis. Too Short actually narrates it.
Oh my God.
Jack Champion's in this.
That's a great cast.
Yeah. We had a screener option. I just didn't have time and I didn't want to commit to it and not be able to do it. That's really kind of what you got going for you this week. Movies on DVD and Blu-ray. We have a limited edition release of Jason and the Argonauts. Classic. Mm-hmm. If you've never seen it. Arrow Video is doing The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Underrated movie.
With that. And Criterion Collection's doing Some Like It Hot this week.
Oh.
We have a couple of tech. We're going to save a tech corner for next week. But announced yesterday, the Nintendo Switch 2 will drop June 5th. $450 is your price point. If you want it with the new Mario Kart World, it's $500. People are losing their minds. Pre-orders will start on Wednesday, and it was announced that all of the WWE 2K games will be available.
I genuinely thought this was also April Fool's. I really did, but it's a larger screen, a higher higher computing power, so it's catching up to the other consoles while still maintaining it being Nintendo.
All right, boys, it's time to return to.
Well, wait. The other tech headline, and I want to know if you saw this.
Okay.
A certain Blunt Man and Chronic being added to Call of Duty? Question?
Yes, I did see that. But I think it's Jane Silent. I think Jane Silent Bob and Blunt Man and Chronic both available.
Well, I was trying to be less obvious in case that was the note you were saving.
No, I'm saving how I introduce myself in the beginning of the show as a tree hugging hippie with style. We're going to save that for next week. But now it's time to return to the Wheel of Names. So we're going to give away our second set of tickets for tomorrow night, April 4th, opening night for your Frisco Rough Riders. Welcome to this is who's left on the Wheel of Names. Here we go. Wheel of Names. Turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lesson that we should learn. Ken Shiner Harrison has won the other pair of tickets. We will reach out and make sure you have what you need on that. How about that? I love the Wheel of Names. That's
congratulations.
And it's wheelofnames.com if you didn't see it on the screen.
Congratulations. Okay.
All right. So let's get go ahead, Don.
That's an awesome.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right. Because that way we could close out the Clubhouse podcast by bookending that for this. It is time to get into the Cheap Popcast, your one-stop shop for all things in the world of professional wrestling. We got a lot to talk about this week, boys, in our sport, because it is that time of year. WrestleMania season is in full swing. Boys, we are 2.5 weeks from WrestleMania. I can't fathom this. But before we get there, if you are in Haltom City out here in the great state of Texas, House of Glory is going to do a show there on July 11th.
Haltom City is a really popular destination, especially with reality down there and all the Houston territory.
And they'll be opening a second school in Orlando.
That's not surprising, but it's smart.
Reality of Wrestling. I was saying, like, for 2 weeks, I didn't get a recording. They changed the way it's labeled in YouTube TV, so I found it. And AJ Francis is going to start working backstage for them.
Nice.
Jonathan Gresham is opening his own wrestling school called the Octopus Academy in May, but I did not see a location on that yet.
It'll probably be Atlanta.
Or Orlando, because Jordan's with NXT.
But where they live, I believe they live in Atlanta, close to his family.
And in Canada, there was a film festival recently that debuted a documentary that I'm thinking we're going to get later this year called Lunatic, the Luna Vachon story.
Oh, that's interesting.
And apparently it's getting really good reviews. The only TNA headline I've got this week is it was announced today that Against All Odds will be June 6th in Tempe's Mullet Arena. So maybe they're going to bring back Johnny Swinger for a night.
Maybe.
Let's
the only thing that fits Johnny Swinger better is the two-touch hi-hat.
Let's talk some WWE. There are rumors swirling that Rusev has signed.
I'm sorry, what day is it?
Day.
Rusev Day. And those kids are back together and got remarried and renewed their vows.
Best two of them.
Mazel tov.
Absolutely.
If you are anywhere near Frankfort, Kentucky in the next 2 years, stop by. There's going to be a museum exhibit for Miss Elizabeth. She was actually born there.
Yes, she was.
So they've got a lot of her gowns and stuff.
Very cool.
So if you're near Frankfort, Kentucky, stop. It's going to run for the next 2 years. In a very interesting move this week, the WWE Hall of Fame announcing your first WWE Immortal moment will be Blood from a Stone.
I had 2 notes on this.
Go ahead.
I had 2 notes. We've been asking for it, or at least some of us have been talking about the UFC fight getting put in because there's ones like this. I'm going to go ahead and steal Don's thunder for a minute and say that HBK Taker should have gone in first. But Blood from a Stone being the formative Attitude Era it is a very important mark because that was when the turn happened with the Attitude Era. But on top of it, I noticed something about what they're calling it along with how they're presenting it.
Okay.
I think this is our first steps to erasing a certain Hulkamaniac. because they are calling it the Immortal Moment, and they are not using the Immortal Hulk Hogan font or branding. I think they're trying the same reason why. Allow me to tread lightly. The same reason why there was the argument why China couldn't go into the Hall of Fame by herself. I feel like this is what we're trying to do with the Immortal Moment and the matches is to try and change your Google algorithm.
But I also I think Taker Sean will be on that list. But I think when you're talking, especially in the modern era, Blood from a Stone it changed everything.
It was the formative.
Yeah.
Now,
makes sense.
As much as I hate it, and I think it's the most overrated thing of all time, you also got to put Hogan Andre in there.
Oh yeah, there will be.
Don, would you have any other ones you'd want to throw in?
The moments from WrestleMania, I'd say, or of course, WrestleMania 25. In Hulk Andre number 3, because that was such a big match. Even though one of the best matches ever was Steamboat and Macho and that same thing.
That one will go in too.
But
Absolutely.
the storytelling, so forth, will go in. But one other one, believe it or not, the other one I was at, WrestleMania 17 or X7.
X7, nicely
correct. The TLC match with the triple with the, because there's always that immortal thing of
that was the second one, right?
What?
Wasn't that the
second one was 2000?
Okay, I always get those flipped.
Yeah, 17 was the first. So
WrestleMania 2000 was the second one?
What?
WrestleMania 2000 was the second one?
But the big one, the first big TLC was at 17.
Okay.
And I was there. And I remember that Edge spear in the whole crowd. And when they pan up, you could actually see me in the crowd there by a big ugly mug. So,
well, and the fact watching it on television and that moment being caught from the overhead cam.
Yeah.
Was just
actually I also
the county cam. That's why John Cena's in there. Remember?
So, question. Wait. I have a genuine question.
Hold on.
I'm trying to save this segment.
That was funny.
Now, I have a genuine question, though.
Yeah.
Do you think that they are going to stick to Mania moments, Mania matches, or do you think that they'll expand out to
expand eventually?
I think you'll have Rumble 92 will be on that list. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say, is there a specific one? You were already getting to it because tear in my eye is definitely going in.
Yeah.
And I think if you had to,
go ahead, Don. I'm Alex. I'm sorry.
The only other thing I could think of in that.
On me.
It's okay. We got
frozen.
You're good now.
Okay. The only other thing I could think of if you're doing in that. Oh nope. I think Don was the problem. Apparently we found out why he froze. But at that same point, I think I would like to see maybe not the first War Games match go in, but you put in the first War Games match as the originator, I guess might be the best.
I would like to see WCW included in that for sure.
Oh, no. But what I'm saying is because they own it, the one I was genuinely trying to remember was the Chicago, oh God, what did they call it? The Windy City Riot between Flair and Steamboat, but that's NWA.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of the gray area in there. I feel like War Games is definitely in there. I wonder if there would be any other like ECW moments that they might let get in there, because I know that Paul is paramount to the company, but I'm struggling to name a singular match outside of Bam Bam and Taz. Maybe that's your first ECW one to go in, but I think you have so many that'll go in first.
Did you see somebody made a cartoon this week of Heyman trying to hide from Roman and Roman looking for him, and then he just stops and goes, "Look in my eyes, what do you see?" And Paul goes, "The cult of personality."
Oh, Don, to catch you up real quick. Don, I want to catch you up real quick. We were talking about the expansion into other ones. I mentioned War Games, while it not being a great match, being the formative, being one to put it in. And I was talking about even getting into ECW and different other ones in that scope, but I couldn't really peg one. I just wanted to make sure that you were caught up.
Yeah.
What do you got?
if it's ECW, the one with Funk and Terry, where the fans threw all the chairs into the ring.
The tag match, yes.
Yeah, with Foley and so
Chairmageddon. Yeah, the Dudleys and
yeah.
The Dudleys, Cactus Jack, and Terry Funk, where
And
it
then
just
the chairs
became
all being thrown
Chairmageddon.
in and all. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good pull. That's a good one, Don.
Yeah, thank you.
Any others you'd want to add, Rob?
I mean, I've already given a few. I think the Iron Man match goes in.
Yes.
The ladder match, WrestleMania 12. There's so many.
The Iron Man match was 12. The ladder was 10.
Okay, that's right. And we're going to speak about.
You know what? I can think 2 or 3 of them from 10, because one of my favorite matches that people don't talk about, 10 started with brother versus brother, and it's the only good brother versus brother Mania match.
Well, we're going to talk about the one before it here in a minute. Wale Mania 10 is going to air on Netflix April 17th at the Brooklyn Bowl in Vegas. I know.
The number.
WWE ID tournaments will also happen in Vegas that week at the Palms for GCW, and FSW has an arena there. The men's will be double.
One of us will be there.
Yep. The men's will be double elimination until 4 remain, and then the final 4 will be single elimination, and the women's will be a round robin format. So those belts are going to be a thing. We teased this just a minute ago. Next Friday on Peacock, there will be a brand new 2-hour documentary called WrestleMania 9 Becoming a Spectacle.
That doesn't necessarily mean a good thing.
Because it's in Vegas, so that would make sense. But man, I hope they tell the whole story.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is WrestleMania 9, literally the first Mania I ever saw, and good God, was it terrible.
Yeah, it's a bad show. Especially learning more about what happened behind the scenes at the ending.
What was that, Don?
What was the ending on that and all that? Basically,
that was the Hogan, Brett, Yokozuna thing.
That was the Hogan Yoko.
Oh,
yeah.
When Hogan flexed,
not to mention the
guys
black
were on
eye.
the plane. Yeah, and the guys that were on the plane to Raw finding out when the plane landed what happened, and everybody losing their minds because Hogan flexed.
Not to mention,
SmackDown.
that was actually originally Taker's first loss at Mania, until they rewrote it.
SmackDown. Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett, listen to me.
Uh-oh.
You mean if the Punisher were British?
Saying Jade Cargill was dressed like Uma Thurman from Kill Bill. You are better than that, sir.
Yes, that I had that notice.
That is Bruce Lee, Game of Death, period. End of list. Everybody else, Minions did it.
Mm-hmm.
I was very angry about that.
I genuinely had that moment, but then I had a thought. Rob, I want to ask you a question.
Please do.
Do you think it was on purpose?
I hope not.
And allow me to put it in this context. There has been a lot of negativity for another announcer with a lot of positivity coming for Wade. And I wonder if that was an intentional line to try and balance the scales.
I also wanted to note, just in case this comes up later, that Roman Reigns got the same chant as Cody Rhodes gets.
Mm-hmm. The sing song, that's the standard.
I'm not saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. On Raw, we have the return of New Catch Republic.
Yes. Surprising.
And note to the rest of the world, this is the Tyler Bate chant you should be using.
Yes.
Thank you, London, for bringing that back.
Well, thank you for creating it and returning it.
And every time I see Pete Dunne's bear tattoo, I just can't imagine how much that hurt.
How much that hurt. Yeah.
Right on the
why? And you think about it, it's like, okay, if you're tattooing your kneecap, odds are you look like Aleister Black or Brody King because you've already covered everywhere else. No, we're just going to put it on the kneecap because reasons.
And the next night, we have a new North American champion in Ricky Saints.
I was shocked by that.
I was as well.
Did you hear the chant?
Yes.
I don't like that.
I know, but that's the IWC now.
Well, but here's the problem. They're
so
going to
much
do the
vitriol.
same. They're going to do the same thing in reverse at Dynasty.
Yeah.
Mark my words, the main event will come and they will just change the name.
And that I will be on the road coming back from New Braunfels.
Okay.
So, and because that is this Sunday. But
Yes,
Tuesday night in Baltimore for AEW, there's going to be a meet, MEAT, and feast at Jimmy's Famous Seafood. Tickets run from $85 to $125 with proceeds going to Culture City, which I know Alex is very on board with.
Yes. I would venture to say we are all on board. I have just been more involved with them. I think we all speak well for that.
And there'll also be proceeds going to the Autism Acceptance Month.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, currently advertised, there will be a live auction, and currently advertised for it, we will have Harley Cameron. No word if the puppet will be with her. Mark Briscoe and Adam Cole.
Baby.
Thank you. We have official stuff.
Are they trying to pull me into this? I mean, like literally, let's check every box.
All in Texas weekend. Here's what's going to happen. July 9th, 1 week after my birthday, Dynamite will be at the Colwell. July 10th, Collision will air live at the Colwell. July 11th, Death Before Dishonor will be at the Esports Arena in Arlington. July 11th and 12th will be StarCast at the Sherrington Arlington, which is in the parking lot of the Esports Arena. And July 12th, of course, will be All in Texas at Globe Life Field, now starting at 3 Central.
Yeah, how long is that show going to go?
Don's got tickets.
Yeah.
So Don's going to give us a report.
So why do you think they moved?
I think it's going to be a 6-hour show, Don.
Yeah,
I think they are answering the question that we've always had, which was the debate over what their Mania is. They are saying it's all in and here's how it goes.
One thing I think maybe also possibly for the UK viewers.
That's a good point.
Because
that would be
where's All In the year after?
8 or 9 p.m. start. Yeah, that would make sense.
I think it's 7.
Well, they're 6 hours ahead of us.
Well, wait, it depends. Where are we? Oh, London. Yeah, it's
yeah.
I think it's 6
hours.
So
again, where's All In going to be the year after?
I don't think
they said it's going back.
Yeah, that's going to go back.
London,
probably.
In a year from now, they announced it at the last All In.
Did they?
Yeah, they said this coming year.
They said, "Don't worry, it's going to return." Basically,
yeah.
But that's why you have All Out overseas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
they just switched them this year. Nothing from Collision or Dynamite, but I do have a couple of notes from what I've watched of Ring of Honor. I've watched 50 minutes of it. We have the first in-ring, but not just on camera, appearance of one Cal Bloom, who you would know as Von Wagner from NXT, who is the son of a Beverly brother.
That is true.
And I hate what I'm about to say.
But wait. Do we guess, Don? Do we guess if he hates the content or how he's going to say it?
The content.
Oh, it's definitely the content, but I was trying to have some fun with it.
Oh, okay.
Rob.
I'm making this prediction, and I hate that I'm making this prediction, but if I don't make it and because it's going to happen, you're going to have an 8-man tag at Super Card of Honor, and it will be the Frat House versus Dark Order, and the loser becomes the winner's pledges.
I hate that you're right.
This is where this is going, and I don't like it.
Well, it's Ring of Honor. They just look at old NXT and they were like, "What did Chase U do? Oh yeah, do that with Dark Order."
Separate this brand. Let it be its own thing. Stop mixing everything up and confusing me. And
I have a funny feeling they just don't have the ability to at this point.
Well, and now with the brackets of the women's Owen Hart Cup tournament, you may have Mercedes Moné versus Athena sooner than you think because they're on the same side of the bracket in the second round.
Yeah, but you know how you do that or why you do that. It's the old New Japan style. If Athena beats Mercedes, she gets a shot at her titles. Mercedes beats Athena, she gets a shot at her titles, but no titles change hand during that one. But that way they set it up for later in the year for All Out, Revolution.
Could be double or
Take
nothing.
your pick. Full Gear. I mean, like what I'm saying is like you're literally telegraphing the match that I don't think anybody on this panel wants.
What?
And the reason is because
I actually want to see this.
I want to see it.
I want the match. I don't want the outcome.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's what I'm getting at.
Because she has creative control. All right, boys. Anything else you want to talk about? My God, we had a lot going on and we got it done early. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, the only thing I could think of was making sure to do the Dawn thing and put my fantasy booking for Mania on the table before anybody else can.
Okay.
I don't think Punk winds up main eventing night one.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think Seth becomes your third member with Cena and Rock. They take out Punk, so it becomes Seth and Roman. Winner gets added to the title match so that they can make it a triple threat, not worrying about DQs, with Seth being the your job is to make John champion. But the favor that gets called in is adding Punk to the title match, so you have a fatal four-way with no rules, so they can do whatever they want, and then we get number 17.
I still don't think he wins. I'm standing by this.
What
was that, Rob?
I don't think Cena gets 17 at Mania. I
hope not. I'm praying not.
I was willing to give it a coin flip until Raw. That's all I'm gonna say. I was willing to give it a coin flip until he ate a Crossroads and acted like he was murdered.
The fans hate me.
That was a heck of an exchange, though.
Yeah, it was. That was a great exchange. And I feel like every time John Cena says something, I can hear him. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna do a thing. Do you guys remember the old in bed game where you could take any fortune cookie and add in bed or different things like that? I feel like there's a new version of this game. And every time John Cena is talking about the toxic relationship, the terrible fans, Don Ford. Every single one of John Cena's barbs directed at the audience can literally have Don Ford added to the end of it. It has become my new favorite game during the John Cena segments. He'll just be talking to Cody. I'll be sitting on the couch, and it'll just be like, and you get nothing. Don Ford.
And now I want him to start.
Don Ford. Instead of the what chant, it's Don Ford. Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be amazing. Empire, make this happen.
People are listening.
Ford.
Instead of what, I want Don Ford. I want this. I want this in the worst way.
The fans hate me. God.
That would be.
You're telling me I have to buy Mania tickets to do this now.
Oh.
Don Ford.
I need a grassroots campaign. I need a go chant me. I don't care what we have to do.
Hey, artists, I'm going to say something in about 3 to 5 minutes. What I need you to do is to Alex at the clubhousepodcast.com. I need you to draw a caricature that looks enough like John Cena that it's obvious, but far enough apart that we don't have to worry about getting sued. But then I just need the words Don Ford in a word bubble over it. That's our new shirt. That's what I need for the artist.
Oh, please.
I am so proud of myself.
Well,
you didn't do anything.
That's just years of hatred. That is years of hatred, decades of hatred just paying off.
Don Ford.
Amazing. All right, there's a QR code over there. You should click it. We love being on Sunset Lounge DFW. Oh yeah. By the way, boys, stick around after the show because we have to talk about next Wednesday night.
Yes, we do.
We will be joining forces with your dark companion live. But it won't be in the studio. Pay attention to social media. We'll tell you all about it. Follow us on all the social medias. Makes us feel better about ourselves. And you could win cool stuff, much like Dave McDonough and Ken Harrison did tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And we are partnering, Sunset Lounge DFW officially partnering up with the Frisco Rough Riders. And what that means is maybe you see us live there because Thursdays are Thirsty Thursdays. It's more of they have more adult-oriented activities. They have a lazy river in the outfield.
Yeah.
Give the 5-second pose to all the fans who want it.
Both of them?
Don Ford.
Or is it Don Ford?
Don Ford.
No, you don't get to do that. You got Fandango. That's all you get.
You know what? Now we have to buy waterproof lavaliers, like the wireless ones, so that we can do the show from the lazy river. And every time we pass by like the outfield fence, we just God.
And if you live in the DFW area and you have not been to a Frisco Rough Riders game, do yourself a solid. It's so much fun. It really is. The Rough Riders, they have it's minor league baseball, so it's great time. And they have the all-you-can-eat seats too, which are
yeah.
So yeah, you might see us out there. You'll probably see us out there. They got a couple of theme nights coming up. May the 3rd, they will be doing Harry Potter night, and they will be doing Star Wars night on May 4th. I will be out of town. I might be back for the 4th. I don't know. Depends on what time I leave Austin. I'll be in Austin that weekend. You can follow me on your social medias if you would like. Everything is Yes That Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN. Come hang out with me this weekend in New Braunfels, Texas. You can meet 3 of the Brady kids. A couple of cast members from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood are going to be there. It's going to be an awesome time. Make sure you join us.
I am Vexploit on all social media, and I am genuinely hoping that was a tease for Michael Keaton, who did work on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Oh, dude, if that was the case, I would be losing my mind.
Anyways, but if you'd like to help out the show, please go to ProWrestlingTees.com and search for the Cheap Podcast. Artists, you're the ones I was talking to before, or anybody who has any tweak designs that they would like to suggest, you could reach out to me at alex@theclubhousepodcast.com.
And that URL gets awesome shirts that make me look good. ProWrestlingTees.com/a-cheap podcast. And if you want this match at your place, email me, don@theclubhousepodcast.com.
We might be having some other remotes coming up very soon, depending on timing and logistics. So email Don if you would like. We love coming doing live remote shows and hanging out with the Empire. It's one of our favorite things to do. You can email me questions, comments, concerns. Tell me to go pound sand. I am Rob@theclubhousepodcast.com. Charla Marshall is on Pinterest. Happy anniversary to her and Kale. They hit their 2nd anniversary. So they have that going for them. Our normal show every Thursday night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, is your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, pro wrestling. It's kind of what we do. So until next week, for Alex, for Don, for the Empire, and now Don. What did you do, Don? Don's back. For Alex,
Don
Ford.
I was going to call for John Cena.
I'm Rob. Clubhouse is closed. Nothing new from Brittany Palmer this week, but, she's just living the dream, bruh.
This is a Stolen Water Media production.